What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tuck Rule Takes, episode 97, the Jarvis Green episode of Tuck Rule Takes. You know me. I'm Mike. I'm here. Liam's here. Big Al is here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, you don't know there's an extra person here. But if you are watching on YouTube, you'll see there's another person here. You might know him from the knee-jerk reactions about the Patriots, the creator of the Do Your Job podcast, the OG of grading school teacher sex scandals, the EEI defector, the czar of the Mac Jones fan club, fresh off celebrating his birthday, along with his Irish Rose, happy belated, by the way, Ireland's own, Barstool Sports own, old balls himself, Jerry Thornton.
Mike, Liam, Al, it's a great time to be back with you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out to me again. It's never a dull moment when you care about the Patriots, and this whole summer, this whole off season has given me that reminder once again, like I needed it, that this is how I make a living, and somewhere out there is a guy whose job it is to write funny things about the Utah Jazz. And I just how whoever that person is, faces the day. I don't know. I wake up every day and say, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be something. And
they're going to be real creative, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. And the Patriots just never let you down. And this whole bananas run that we've been on that really is about to turn 25. And this year has been no exception. So thanks for the nice intro. It's a blast to be back with you guys.
Yeah, of course. We're all obviously pumped that you're on. Barstool fans across the board. So obviously, great that we could get you on here for a little bit. So you mentioned that there's never a dull moment. I really don't think that we have any stuff to kind of talk about. We have to get right into the main thing here. The Patriots have one quarterback on their roster right now.
Mac Jones, baby.
One. We are all Jerry, just to fill you in. Well, actually, not we are all. Liam and myself, we are huge.
No. Do not do that. That is brutal. Get off your high horse and don't be doing this because I'm the one that got you in contact with Jerry Thornton. Don't
now
be doing
Al
that.
feels attacked.
You did, but guess what, Al?
Don't be doing that.
Now.
You created a false narrative about
we can oust you
that
now.
That is just been doing everything.
I got my white whale. We are here. I know, Al. This is the only reason we brought you on as the third co-host.
Oh, now the truth comes out. The truth shall set you free, Michael.
But yeah. So speaking of being set free,
what we're fighting about? Loud noises.
So I like to pick on.
If you kids don't stop, I am going to turn this car right around and we will go right back home again. There's an invisible line drawn in the back seat. Don't cross it and behave.
Well, I'm sorry, are we there yet?
I'm just berating Al, hitting him with things in the back seat. No, Jerry. So what it is, Al, obviously big fan of Mac Jones. I think one episode he wasn't as behind him as Liam and I were. So from then on, it's kind of the running thing where he isn't a Mac Jones guy, but he definitely is. You kind of have to be now. You have no choice. Shock, awe, eyebrows raised like The Rock. Bailey Zappi is gone. So is Malik Cunningham, but Bailey Zappi is the big name that we'll kind of start with. And I think we have to be start clear, with Jerry.
Yeah, they're both gone as we're doing this podcast.
Of course.
And, and I'm guilty of this all the time where you jump the gun on saying, well, that guy's gone. We're never going to see him again. And then he clears waivers and he's back. And every one of these moves is a calculated gamble. If you're at all interested in the guy and, there's a chance you could bring him back. So you have to say, there's no way we can, expose him to waivers. We'll never see him again. Maybe with this guy, we can. The Zappi thing, and I immediately kind of spiked the football on this because while I never thought he was going to get cut, I did suggest after the last third preseason game that we've got a Bailey Zappi issue here because people are saying, oh, I don't know if he's not going to be the starter this year. This is back in April, March or whatever. Oh, Bill won't, commit to Mac Jones being the starter. And as of the other day, I was saying, I think it might be in doubt whether he actually makes the roster.
Yeah.
I kind of facetiously, but I hadn't been seeing it, and I reread something that I wrote back on last October 28th after the Real Housewives of Foxborough. Gillette fans were chanting for Bailey Zappi in a game because Mac Jones, who was a Pro Bowler the year before, who more importantly, because the Pro Bowl doesn't mean much, I get it, but more importantly, won double-digit games and took them to the playoffs. All of a sudden, based on 10 quarters of Bailey Zappi, we're convinced this is it. It's all we need to see. It's Brady, 2001, all over again. It's history repeating itself. Like, okay, and I wrote at the time, how about he's playing like a guy from Western Kentucky who they've kind of managed into doing some good things here, and you guys are treating him like he's the Messiah. Like,
he also played the Lions and the Browns.
Last.
It's
you know
ridiculous.
what I mean? The new fresh thing comes along, and everyone's ready to just dump the one that they were thrilled to be with the year before. So yeah, I didn't say he was going to get cut, but you should feel like a complete jackass if you were one of those people chanting for Bailey Zappi last year, and there were many. There had to have been 50,000 people in the stands, and it was a low moment.
Yeah, that was bad. That since you brought it up, so I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure because obviously I follow you, I see where you're writing things like that. But yeah, that was absurd to hear your fan base. You know, you like to think everybody says what Patriots fans are one of the smartest or like at least intelligent fan bases in the league. Not at all there. You're and Mac Jones is still going out there to his credit. I think with Jacoby Myers, a couple other players are like, credit to Mac. He's out there trying to win a game when you're chanting the backup's name, who just beat the Lions and the Browns, I think. That's who it was.
Yeah. And if you look back at that Chicago game, and I did based on what I'd written about it in real time and the knee-jerk reaction, and it was, he put together a couple of drives, and that's good. They simplified the playbook. They did what he was capable of doing, and a lot of his numbers were checkdowns to Ramondre Stevenson, which is great, but the game was out of reach. So it was the equivalent of, bumping up your batting average by like bunting when you're down by 12 runs in the 8th inning. And that's fine. That's what he did. He took what was available to him. But to just immediately, extrapolate all the way out and say, oh, this is the guy. I don't want to see that Mac Jones guy anymore. It was the kind of stuff like, guys, I'm not a great football analyst. What I am is somebody with a memory, and I don't forget what it was like in like the early 90s, where whoever the backup was the savior, and I can rattle off names that will be nothing to you guys, but for a while it was like Mac Jones, and then it was like it was not Hugh Millen. Hugh Millen. It was Tommy Hodson. It was Tom Ramsey. We used to love, everyone talks about how much they loved Steve Grogan. People used to scream for him to get benched in favor of whoever his backup was. I'm not playing that game every time someone has a decent outing. I wasn't doing it with Jimmy Garoppolo in 2016. I wasn't doing it with Jacoby Brissett when he went out and beat
Houston. I think
the Buffalo. Yeah, Houston. Great game for him. Don't take the cheese on that. Look at what the guy does, and have a little bit of perspective. I get that's not a thing to ask football fans to do, because it's great to fall in love with the next big thing,
Yeah, and then get upset when they don't pan out, freak out, have your thing. It's fun. It's entertaining. Yeah,
I do it with one wide receiver every preseason, and I'm open about it. And I've been right a lot. I was right about Jacoby Myers when he was an undrafted free agent, but I've been wrong 1,000 times. I'm sure I was writing fond things about N'Keal Harry, who I think is on LinkedIn right now, looking for some kind of a job with that Arizona
State who will
State
not
degree.
Be named. Oh goodness.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fun to do it, to just declare your unmitigated love for a guy, but just give him a chance to prove. People are doing it with Mela Cunningham, after that first game, and I'm like, hey, look, it was terrific, good for him, but running back, plant your foot on the ground, and then running through a hole against third and fourth stringers who'll be out of job in a couple of weeks is not being an NFL quarterback. Can we just take a deep breath here, folks?
Oh, yeah. That's the fun about being a sports fan, is to overreact. And now it's become even more popular and even easier because of Instagram. You see a little 13-second clip of Malik Cunningham juking a guy out on the way to the end zone. But you don't see. He completed like 3 passes. Like, he was fun. He was entertaining. He scored our only touchdown.
Had one good throw or one impressive throw. That one.
But he's no Mike Vick, but everyone wants to flip out.
Yeah, the one that went through Trey Nixon's thumbs. That was terrific.
Yeah, it was.
But it's okay to look at that and go, well, that's encouraging or promising. Well, that shows potential. But those are real soft verbs. They're not verbs. They're gerunds, right? So they would be adjectives. Anyway, right now,
the teacher, Al would know.
Hey,
he's a math teacher. He's a math teacher. Come on now.
Yeah, Mrs. Driscoll, my Weymouth freshman English teacher, who was 103 when I had her and died a couple of years ago. She was like Methuselah. She's clawing at the top of her casket right now, but I don't want to bog down into my crappy grammar.
They're adverbs. They're adverbs.
Just at some point, just don't make a fool out of yourself, because people like me will save the receipts. And, all those guys who call, I even said, I tweeted out yesterday, and Patriots cut down day is coming, and is Mac Jones a lock to make the roster? Yeah, coming up after the break, I'll tell you why I think he's not. We have open phone lines at 617, because that's the way the game is played. But I'm not going to make an idiot out of myself over a guy who just shows some potential. Like, let him grow, let him develop. And clearly, Bill O'Brien went to Belichick and just said, Zappy's not getting it. And that's how it looked the other night, in that third preseason game. Inaccurate throws, kind of changing his arm angle from here. Some guys can do that. You're not it. So.
No, and worst of all, he was a distraction after last season with all this controversy after the Bears. Even if he did have a fine preseason, I think the distraction would be worth almost getting rid of him after this whole controversy where everyone's like, we want Zappy. It's like, Mac's the guy. Let's clear the slate here, not have any controversy. Bring back Brian Hoyer for the 17th time and roll into the season.
Oh, Liam, there you go. If you're looking for a job hosted on 98.5 The Sports Hub, you just got it. Mac Jones went to Kraft and said, you got to get rid of this guy. He's a threat to me.
I saw that out there. That's already on. That's already on Twitter. It wasn't from any sort of like reputable source, but like I saw a couple normies, regular people tweet.
He went to Daddy Kraft.
It's only a matter of time. But like you said, he hasn't had a good training camp. And it's funny, all of the writers, everybody you see who tweeted about it, they all start it with the same thing. They say, Zappy had a bad training camp, but I didn't see that, or like, but whatever. It's like, it's always kind of not telling on yourself. That's not the right phrase, but it's like, you're kind of contradicting yourself. You're like, oh yeah, he's been bad, but I thought why would he make it if he's back? It's a backup quarterback. I think a lot of people are making a big deal about it just because his name is Bailey Zappi. All of what happened.
He got a few starts.
And I think too, the reason that people are so freaked out is because you cut Trace McSorley on Monday. So now you're down to 3. Then you cut Bailey Zappi. It's like, okay, you want to go with Malik Cunningham as the backup, a rookie, whatever, fine. Great. Dual threat quarterback. That's awesome. But then you cut Malik Cunningham. Now you're down to 1 quarterback, and everyone's freaking out like, we don't have a backup quarterback. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make something very clear to you. You're going to get a backup quarterback. It's going to be okay. Bailey Zappi might go through waivers. No one gets him. And then he comes back to the practice squad. Maybe Malik Cunningham's the same thing. Maybe they go completely out of the box and they go with Colt McCoy, or they go with Jacoby Brissett, or Will Grier, or whoever. But the point is, they're going to have a backup quarterback, but it's Mac Jones's team. And this is the guy that you need to go with, because he has a big 5th-year option that this is going to be his fate this year. And if he doesn't do well, they might pick it up, but that might cost him millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So again, it's Mac Jones's team. There's going to be a backup. Give it a couple days. Everybody chill out. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is so ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just, it's overblown. But Jerry, I heard you say though, every year you also fall in love with the wide receiver.
Funny, I was just thinking this. I was going to ask.
Made me think. I can't recall who it was this year. Who was that receiver that you fell in love with this year?
It was not long after the draft that I said Kayshon Boutte.
My man.
Yes, there it is.
Excellent, Jerry. Excellent.
Just digging into his past and excuse me, where he was projected to go, as an underclassman, where, what his career trajectory was looking like it was going to be. Highly recruited guy, has a nice career for himself. And I've seen the play, if you guys haven't, where he broke his ankle, making a great catch on the sideline, toe tap, hanging on to the ball. He has surgery. Later on has to have another surgery. And during that time, Brian Kelly ends up ditching Notre Dame, leaving them high and dry in the lurch like a jackass that he is, and then goes down to LSU, appears down there, and starts talking in that fake drawl of his. You know what I mean? Like a politician when they're talking.
He's literally a Massachusetts guy.
Exactly.
Literally.
Who's been in South Bend for 10 years, And I'm a Notre Dame fan, which is why I'm like so over the top, vociferously bitter about this fraud. And so he starts talking like a politician who finds himself at a Black Baptist church or something. Y'all down here, we all gonna just shut up, you fraud. Well, that's the coaching staff that Booty comes, back to. Has no relationships with them, doesn't know, has missed time while they're installing the system or whatever. They have a problem with him. They don't like the fact that they don't feel he's done enough work, whatever. They move him to the slot where I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but his yards per catch went from something like 17 point whatever to like 7 because he was miscast as a slot receiver. This guy was doing everything when in the earlier system, and it happens. Guys fall through the cracks. Well, the Patriots take a late flyer on him, and I said, well, he's got potential. Again, I try to speak in logical terms. And then before he really started to catch on, you go the first week of practice, and Demario Douglas is practicing with the ones, and I mean that stood right out, and you could see it like he belonged there. Maybe just they working with them over the offseason figured out, okay, so Pop Douglas is more advanced, but the guy with the higher ceiling is Booty, and Booty eventually caught on. So clearly both those guys made the roster, which is a great thing. Tons of potential there. I'm fascinated to see how it plays out. Are they going to carry 6 receivers, or are they going to maybe put Tyquan Thornton on the IR for a bit? And I don't know. We'll see. But Booty, I think the sky is the limit. They don't need him to be much. I mean, they've got 3 veterans at the top of that depth chart, and you Juju Smith-Schuster is clearly your 1, and then Devontae Parker is your 2, and then Kendrick Bourne has dug his way out of Matt Patricia's doghouse like Andy Dufresne, so he doesn't have to worry about that, and he's been a favorite target. So I think that one position looks really good, given the fact that it appears that they've hit on those 2 rookies. And I'm trying to couch my language here, but it looks like they've hit on those guys.
You don't have to couch your language.
I would like to just make a really quick statement.
Mike, we don't even need to.
I know what you're going to say. So
we don't even
because I was going to say it.
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Hey, finally. Good.
I was wrong. Listen, I told you if he made it. So, Jerry, just a little context. These 2
hates
had
Booty.
Booty. I said he wasn't going to make the roster because I thought Tyquan Thornton would be healthy.
All definitions of the word.
But I also told them that if I was wrong, I would tell them on the podcast I was wrong. So guess what? I was wrong.
Okay. Now, when were you wrong? Because that's important. Context matters. Was it when they first drafted him, or was it when he was in college? Were you saying
It was shortly after they drafted him.
He was always wrong, Jerry. He was always wrong.
He came out wrong.
It was when they started training camp, and Booty was with the 2s, and Douglas was with the 1s. And I thought, like you said, the 3 veterans in Parker, Bourne, and Smith-Schuster. Then you had Douglas, and then you had Tyquan Thornton, because don't forget, he was healthy to start training camp. And I thought there's going to be 1 receiver probably left off. It was probably going to be Kayshon Booty. So that's when I had him getting cut.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't beat yourself up too terribly about that, because it took him a little while to catch on, and
I'm a man of my word. I have to admit when I'm wrong, and I fessed up. Credit to me, man of my word. A famous Big Cat line, if you will, Jerry. Credit to me. I was wrong.
Credit to me.
It takes a big man to admit when he's wrong, and it takes an even bigger man to never let him forget it and ridiculously mock him. And I imagine that's what you're going to face from Mike and Liam, but not from me.
Yes.
Jerry.
This speaks to a couple of things. One, how hard it is to predict wide receiver, particularly in this system. Like the history of guys who did nothing anywhere else but really were able to grasp it and thrive here is really long. And to me, the patron saint of that category is MVP of the early Super Bowl. His name was in my head at the beginning. Deion Branch. Deion Branch goes elsewhere for big money, never amounted to anything. They end up trading Randy Moss at the trading deadline. They bring back Deion Branch. In his first game back, he catches 2 balls on the sideline at the end of the second half with like 8 seconds left, goes out of bounds on both of them, and they kick a last-second field goal. And I said, it's just, he gets it. The most valuable asset you have in this system is between your ear holes. And he always had it the way that Troy Brown did, whatever, David Givens, David Patton. Then you look at like guys who were
Jerry,
really accomplished elsewhere and came
Jerry.
here and amounted to nothing. Del Gabriel never did anything here.
Real quick, breaking news. Patriots. Patriots have placed cornerback Isaiah Bolden and offensive lineman Connor McDermott on IR. Their seasons are over. They cut linebacker Joe Gillis-Harris, offensive lineman James Ferentz, running back Ty Montgomery, and defensive end Ronnie Perkins.
Oh, no.
3 minutes ago from Doug, I always say his name wrong, Kayed? I don't know. Jerry, you
Kayed, I think,
Yeah, Doug Kayed. So Mike's a big Ronnie Perkins guy. Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just
I'm glad to know that. So Ty Montgomery, that's interesting because, he just has not been able to catch on with this team. He just hasn't,
Except for the first game, scored a touchdown the first game, and then that obviously got hurt and all that. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like that multi-tool that they could have plugged into a number of different places.
Seemed like a perfect
gadget player, kind of like with Cunningham. I saw him being in that kind of Cordarrelle Patterson role. Get him the ball in space and let him do stuff, but that's never materialized. The Isaiah Bolden thing hurts because he was looking like a kick returner, like a maybe even a core 4 special teamer or whatever. But they have some depth there, but none of those is quite like the shock value of Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Ronnie Perkins. I was going to say, I was shocked at that.
Yeah, I'm certainly not glad about it. I think there's some depth at that position too, on the edge. They see, after the year that Uche had and Judon, I think that's a loss that they can absorb, but we'll see. Yeah, who I think has really surprised me over the last few years when they extended Dietrich Weiss Jr. I just didn't see it. My brother and I had this long conversation, like, what are they seeing in him? Why don't I see it? And the guy post-contract extension versus the guy pre-contract extension, it's like those two guys never met because he has just been a beast is an exaggeration, but he's just been such a solid contributor inside, outside, being able to do different things. And Perkins, I'm sorry to see him get hurt, but I think that's one that they can shore that up until he comes back next year.
Yeah,
he didn't give it his all though. When he threw up in that last game, I was like, "What a fucking stud! This dude wants to make the roster." I can't believe it's cold-blooded to cut a man after he hurls his guts out on the field
and then makes a tackle literally 2 seconds.
He
later.
literally gave it all.
Got that dog.
He did.
Sorry,
Liam,
Mike.
I don't want Liam to skate away from this thing that I wanted to bring up because I believe when Jerry was talking about who you thought were kind of the number 1 receivers and everything for the team, you mentioned Juju Smith-Schuster.
I was having a good day.
Now, Al and myself big Juju fans. I did when he was on the Steelers. I'm almost
Big
like
Juju
contractually
fans,
obligated
really?
to hate him, so I didn't like him when he was there. But we cannot seem to convince Liam that Juju is a really good player on this team, that he's going to produce, that he could be a number one, like you said. So we are throwing the lifeline out to you. What kind of diatribe, what kind of sermon can you give to Liam to explain to him that Juju is worth it and he's going to produce this year?
What did
Give
he
me your
have
best
last
sales pitch.
What did he have last year with Kansas City? 900 plus yards?
8.
On an offense that runs
I'll look it up.
through Travis Kelce, much to my detriment, because, but a quick aside, I think Travis Kelce has become one of the most insufferable figures in all the sports.
Yes.
Like, how many times can he hijack a post-game interview where they clearly want to talk to Patrick Mahomes, and he has to like grab the microphone in mid-sentence and then just speak utter gibberish, like, yeah, who's that? You got that?
Yeah.
Who's it?
It's literally like a Kanye Taylor Swift moment. Literally,
he wants to be a Beastie Boy so bad, bad.
Exactly.
That's all he wants to be.
And the worst part about it is the man can play tackle football. He really can.
I know.
So Smith-Schuster just coasted behind him, still gets 900 yards.
933 on 78 catches.
Oh, was it 933?
Okay. I don't appreciably see the difference between him last year and him with the Steelers when he had 1,400 yards with Antonio Brown on the same field as him. And you can say, well, he was open because of Brown. Okay, but Brown, sucks a lot of oxygen out of that. He was, you thought he would be the focus of it, and he was the second best receiver they had. He didn't forget how to play football while winning a Super Bowl last year, drawing a defensive hold that ended up being the game-winning play of the game.
I don't know how much Juju Smith-Schuster had to do with that, but
drawing the hold.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't commit defensive holding against a guy you can just cover. I mean, the numbers don't have to pop out at you because the Patriots don't need. They're not built for a 1,400-yard receiver. They're not going to get that guy who just gets the ball all that much. The glaring example, the glaring exception rather. I'm having trouble with words tonight. Being Randy Moss. Like other than that, they feed the ball to a slot guy. They get people who can stretch the field horizontally. They know ahead of time, like, who the play is going to go through, who the focus of it is going to be. Mac Jones is the guy who can make progressions. For all that means they don't need this guy to be anything more than he was with Kansas City last year, which was good enough to be the top wide receiver on a team that won the Super Bowl.
Can I interest you in that, Lee?
Yes. So I think there's a thin line there because Kendrick Bourne was also the top receiver on a team that almost won the Super Bowl with San Francisco, and I don't think anyone's going out on a limb saying Kendrick Bourne's should be, as a clear-cut, solid number one receiver. I think Juju's fine. Like, I just don't think he's really like a needle movie. He doesn't get me super excited is my biggest point. I don't think he's a world beater, and I certainly don't think he's anything like he was that one year in Pittsburgh. Much like you said, I think Antonio Brown's gravity helped him for most of that. And then last year in that Chiefs offense with Travis Kelce taking most of the attention, I think you could get 700 yards yourself. Al can get another 600, and then Mike can follow up the rear with 300 just in checkdowns. It's such.
What if I say this? He's an upgrade from Jacoby Myers.
I don't think so. So though, exactly, they're different players.
Yeah, I'll say this: Myers, and I'm not putting him down, was the number one receiver to like 5 different starting quarterbacks.
Certainly, and Juju won't throw the ball to the other team, so that helps.
Yeah, that's always a plus, by the way. Yeah, I'm not saying it's the first thing I look for in watching his film.
But it's nice to consider.
Yeah. But I think what we got out of Myers is his ceiling. I think he reached it every single year, and that's 700 yards here and there. Not a great catch percentage, like not much of a red zone target or whatever. Whereas Schuster in a year where you say wasn't that good, okay, 900 yards, 933. And I don't think the Patriots need him to be much more than an upgrade. How about this? Do you think there are going to be times when, based on how they shuffle the deck in that big go fish game that is an NFL offense facing an NFL defense, that sometimes he'll have the advantage over the guy that is guarding him?
Yeah, because he's, like I said, he's a different wide receiver. He's got different dimensions than Jacoby Myers. But the way the Patriots offense works, I think you could also get those mismatches, those advantage with Jacoby Myers. I think he was, the next slot receiver for the Patriots after Welker and Edelman and whatnot. Like you said, there was a ceiling on his potential. He was never going to be as good as those, but the Patriots have made a living off putting those guys in mismatches. And I think it worked quite well for us in the time that he was here. Yes, I think his size, I think his ability to catch in traffic would put him in some circumstances while shuffling the deck at an advantage. But you can also get that same advantage with those quick outs that Julian Edelman used to run if you had Jacoby Myers in there.
Let me ask.
I will add this. Smith-Schuster did come at a favorable deal for the team. Like, they didn't overpay for him the way they did, say, Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, but it was similar to Jacoby's deal, almost the same thing, right?
Yeah, and I think they got him on their terms and see that he has greater upside. There's not a universe in which Jacoby Myers is going to be a 1,400-yard receiver, even if you line him up opposite Antonio Brown or Peak Cherry Rice or Terrell Owens or name him. That's not what he's ever going to be cut out to do, and that's not a knock on him. The guy came from nowhere. He cashed in, and more power to him.
So hold on. If we're thinking delusionally here, what's your ceiling? Like, best case, if you're a huge Juju Smith-Schuster guy, what is the absolute max potential that he could give the Patriots this year if all the planets align, all the stars go right for him?
Because they're never going to just feed like one guy.
Of course,
yes. It's not how they do it. I think a 1,000-yard season. I don't see 1,100 any more than, like, say, Brandon Cooks. He got 1,000 yards from them. That was terrific. He's not the kind of guy like Edelman that's going to get close to 100 catches and 1,000 yards. But I think 1,000 yards is very much in play for him.
Any idea on touchdown numbers? You got any?
Because I don't think hard, because as good as Myers is, they just never threw to him. In the end zone, and I think the goal line here is really going to be Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott.
There's got to be some variety, though. They've been so bad. Like, I get it, like just punching the ball forward, but we got to have some mixed match and some weird pass plays here.
Absolutely, and I love the idea of Bill O'Brien. He's done it in preseason games a little bit in the short time that we saw Jones, where he started incorporating some different things, some run pass option, even just to totally nerd out, with the catchphrase of the last 5 years, which Jones was good at Alabama, and we saw none of last year, and we saw even less of under Josh McDaniels. Just showed no interest in working that in. But I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end offenses down on the goal line.
God, I hope so.
And that generally speaking doesn't mean you're going to get a 12 touchdown receiver. You know what I mean? Like, none of these guys belong in your fantasy team unless you're really taking late.
I don't think anyone gets close to even like 6 or 7 touchdowns.
Yep. Yeah. And I can positively live like that, the way we did even 2018 when Gronk wasn't who Gronk was, and they had Amendola and Edelman, and they patched it together and they figured it right the F out. And I think I'd be fine with that as long as it's eliminating turnovers, predicated on the run game, a nice balance there, and a coach. What a miracle this is, a coach who can look at what's working and what's not and have a plan and break the huddle with 2 ideas in mind.
Crazy.
And
incredible how that works.
It's crazy. It's like it had never been tried before, man. Matt Patricia really damaged me. I kind of feel like I should be like in front of social worker with an anatomically correct doll. Right? Show me where the offensive coordinator hurt you.
Seriously,
like an abused girlfriend talking about her ex, like you just shaking.
Yes. So Jerry, we talked about the receivers a little bit. I want to talk about the running backs for a real quick second. Mm-hmm. So Liam's best friend is Juju Smith-Schuster. His other best friend is Ezekiel Elliott. What do you think about Ezekiel Elliott?
Is this just the attack Liam hour while Jerry's on?
You guys wrapping it up. That's how we're wrapping it up with Jerry.
Lay it on me, Jerry.
So Ezekiel Elliott, what do you think? And what is kind of his ceiling, similar to what you did with Smith-Schuster?
Okay, I would never have backed the truck up and given him a bunch of gold bars to come here. Clearly the market is what it is, and it declines every year, unfair as that is. And I think Belichick did a classic Belichick move, which is to say, this is a guy with a resume. This is a guy who can help. We're not going to run the offense through him. He's just a component piece that can help us and take a little bit of the pressure off of Stevenson. They got a team-friendly deal. And I think he can produce. Again, I know his yards per attempt last year, and they're really bad when you compare him to the guy he was really running alongside, right? We have 3.8 or something.
3.7.
3.7. If you dig deep in there, you see a lot of red zone yards, a good percentage on third and short of converting, and good around the goal line. 12 touchdowns. Is no joke. I don't care who you are. And he can catch the ball, which, we tend not to associate with him. But he's had some years where he's had a lot of 35 catch seasons with, 300 yards, 400 yards, whatever. I think he had one 400-yard. I should have researched the numbers before I did this. But I think it's a great, let's take a flyer on this guy, because whatever his ceiling is going to be, I think his floor is high. I don't think he's going to go out there and then just get stuffed. I'm trying to think of some real bad, he's not going to be Lawrence Maroney, dancing at the hole.
Let's not get crazy. I love me some Lawrence Maroney, but
we all liked him, but
I liked him until the following year where they just threw a undrafted running back out of the droid factory into that same role. And it was Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, and they ended up with close to 1,000-yard season. And I realized, okay, slow-mo was a great nickname for Lawrence Maroney.
Yes.
I don't need a guy to do river dance at the hole. And that's what he did, and I think Elliott is gonna hit it. So I'm not about to suggest that they got the stud of all studs, but I think as a component piece, as a complementary back, there's a ton of potential there.
So I think he's an unnecessary signing. This is why they're all bringing it to your attention here, because we've been arguing about this for a little while.
Okay.
I just find it counterintuitive in my mind, where it's, especially now that Ty Montgomery's gone, where I thought he would be the James White, the receiving back, the Rex Burkhead, whatever we needed, a change of pace back, I guess. Now it seems like we have no other running backs but Ramondre and Ezekiel Elliott. They both kind of do the same thing. They both can catch. They're mostly bruisers up the middle. Both of them can have decent speed at times. But I was looking for more of a change of pace back, and one that you probably wouldn't have to pay as much as Ezekiel Elliott. Not that he's making a ton of money, but unfairly so. All running backs can do the same thing. You can pick up an undrafted guy to run in between the tackles for $900,000, and that's why the Giants didn't want to pay Saquon and the Raiders didn't want to pay Josh Jacobs. It's an easy position to succeed at if you have a decent offense and decent blocking, and you can give them very little. That's why I just thought Zeke was remarkably unnecessary to get.
Yeah, I actually have a generic name for the guys you describe it. Ben Jonas, Gray, Ellis, or whatever. Jonas
something Gray that Madden creates for a random player.
Yeah, Jonas Gray gets 300 yards for them and 4 touchdowns, and he's out of football a couple of weeks
exactly.
later.
It's a super interchangeable position.
Yep. I'm very surprised about the Pierre Strong signing, even though I get it. Okay, they feel like Elliott gives them some depth at running back, and then they use that to get depth at another area where they needed at offensive tackle. However, I thought he was groomed to be the next guy in that role. It takes
the Damian
2
Harris.
years. It takes 2 years to be that guy who's the pass catching back, and Strong is crazy fast. It took Kevin Falk a few years, and Shane Vereen a few years, and then James White a couple of years. There's a lot to it. You have to learn. You prove to them that you can be trusted on blitz pickup and have good hands and not turn the ball over and everything. I don't know who's filling that role right now.
Exactly.
Stevens was it last year.
He was.
And that's a lot to ask of a guy who's also your sort of bell cow back. So maybe they feel they have two of them, but that's
your confusion is my confusion. Yeah, where I'm just like, what do we do now? Now that roster cuts at the end of it, I'm like, we got Zeke, we got Stevenson. They do the same thing. Now I'm just confused what the hell's going on.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Like you guys said, Jerry, I don't want to take up your whole night. We're going to kind of keep chatting after. I just got one last thing for you before you go. Week 1 against the Eagles in a couple weeks. Who you got? How do you think that game's going to go?
Oh, jeez. I know it feels like it's an eternity from now. I like the Pats. Of course, I'm going to. But it all comes down to the offensive line. And by all accounts, you're going to get Cole Strange back, and you get Michael Onwenu. There's 40% of your line right there. Trent Brown is a mixed bag. I still don't know who's going to be your right tackle. Maybe Mafi. I don't know, but it may take a couple of weeks to sort that out, because the one thing that these guys haven't had the luxury of is continuity, being able to work together, and that's absolutely mission critical in this. But I trust Adrian Clem to work it out. So give me the offensive line as I just described it. And okay, if they can handle that rush and give Mac Jones a little bit more time than they've had, which has been virtually none, then okay, give me the Patriots at home. If it was in Philly, we're having another conversation. And as it is, that game's going to be an emotional tsunami for me, because I think they're paying tribute to somebody.
Somebody.
Some
I can't remember. Somebody you used to be a big fan of. If I remember.
I don't want to go all New Testament parables here, but the prodigal son is coming home, and we're slaughtering the fatted calf.
I'll be watching on TV, see if those tears are coming down your eyes. I'm going to be keeping an eye on you.
I hope that's what happens. I hope these are the games why you bring in Bill O'Brien. Have a good game plan, mitigate the rush somehow, screens, whatever, and hopefully they can pull out one. That'll be a big statement win if they can.
I'll leave you with this. Bill O'Brien, the most significant offseason acquisition in the NFL, bigger than Aaron Rodgers, bigger even than Juju Smith-Schuster, but bigger than anybody. So
when you upgrade from shit.
Yeah.
Gary, shout out your socials real quick before you head off.
Absolutely. I'm everywhere at Jerry Thornton 1, Jerry spelled with a J. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. I got a Facebook page. I'm working on an OnlyFans. No, I'm not. But yeah, you want to know how I am the way I am? Pick up From Darkness to Dynasty, the first 40 years of the New England Patriots. Also 6 rings, the history of the Patriots Super Bowl run so far. And fellas, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and I'll see you on Barstool tomorrow and every day.
Yes, sir. I have that book. It's a good book.
Yes. Thank you, sir, Jerry. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for supporting a struggling artist. I'll talk to you cats soon.
See you, Jerry.
Yeah. Struggling artist. Like the guy doesn't work for $1 billion company.
I know.
So if you're listening, not watching on YouTube, Jerry has left. We're gonna finish up a little bit here. Al, this is kind of a real thing to you real quick. Thank you. Without your inclusion here, we wouldn't have got him on. Jerry Thornton is one of him, and KFC also from Barstool, but really Jerry Thornton, he's one of the guys that really got me like interested in writing blogs, just writing anything about the Patriots. So when I said that he was like, a white whale for me, that was a big thing. Like I was sweating. I told my wife before I got on here, I was like my asshole's puckering up. Like I'm very, very, very anxious to have him on. That was awesome. I could listen to him talk about the Pats.
Good thing we didn't do it in person. Maybe you would have tried to kiss him.
Oh no, I would have. It wouldn't have happened. I would. I don't even. He's talking. I would have just like, oh, sorry, I love you.
And no BS, Mike. I'm happy that you're happy because I know it's someone that you loved following. Mm-hmm. So it brought me joy to see that you were so happy to have him on. So I was glad to do it.
So happy. Now I got the Barstool shirt, new one. First time I've worn it. Love it. He knows so much. Yeah. So much.
He's just got a killer. It's like a picturesque memory where he's like, oh, like the Patriots beat the Texans by 27 points. You're like, oh shit, like this guy knows.
Yeah. So obviously, when we're done, because don't text while we're on the podcast, Al. There's other people who have done that on podcasts with Liam and I.
True.
Don't do that while we're on.
You endorse at some these point, people, Al.
shoot them a text. Say, obviously we appreciate it very much. This was a big thing. My ass.
Send him a BHP too if you want.
Yeah, and tell him if he does start an OnlyFans, I'll subscribe. So, but I tried to keep it upbeat. You said Ronnie Perkins got cut.
He did. He was one of the last cuts.
Dude was really holding it together. We're all like, hey, Jerry, what do you think? Mike's like,
everyone's happy. I'm sitting here sharpening.
That's why I had to interrupt him because I had to make sure that got out there.
You had to tear me down. Yeah, but that is crazy, though. The fact that like all jokes aside, Ronnie Perkins, I was hoping he'd make the roster. Maybe his performance, maybe whatever. Ty Montgomery, though, being not getting there.
And Kevin Harris. So who's the fucking running
that's
back?
what I was going to ask. Because right now it's Stevenson and Zeke.
That's it.
If I know. Now, obviously, some people will clear what you don't know, and like maybe they pick up whoever. I don't know who's available as a running back. I'll look it up as we talk.
Just real quick, Mike.
Leonard Fournette.
Liam. Just real quick. I'm going to read off the 53-man roster. I'll fly through the names.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So here we go in alphabetical order by last name. Calvin Anderson, David Andrews, Jake Andrews, Bryce Behringer, Mike. Behringer. Christian Barmore, Jawan Bentley, Chris Board, Kendrick Bourne, Keyshawn Booty, Trent Brown, Miles Bryant, Joe Cardona, Demario Douglas, Kyle Duggar, Daniel Ukwale, Ezekiel Elliott, Mike Gesicki, Devin Godchow, Christian Gonzalez, Lawrence Guy. Okay, I was wrong about Lawrence Guy. I didn't know if he was
both of us were.
A lot of people thought he would be cut. You guys weren't alone. Yeah,
especially that fiasco he pulled.
Hunter Henry, Anthony Jennings, Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones, Mac Jones, Marcus Jones, Matthew Judon, Vidarian Lowe,
Jones,
Antonio Mafi, Marte Mapu, Jalen Mills, Mike Nwenu, Devontae Parker, Jabril Peppers, Adrian Phillips, Riley Reef, Sam Roberts, Chad Ryland, Brendan Schooler, Matthew Slater, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sidney So, Amir Speed, Ramondre Stevenson, Cole Strange, Jelani Tavai, Tyquan Thornton, Josh Uche, Sean Wade, Tyron Wheatley Jr., Keon White, Mac Wilson Sr., Dietrich Wise Jr., Mac Jones, Matthew Judon, Matthew Slater.
Nice to know Riley Reed didn't.
Oh, I might have said those guys twice because they were the three feature, but you get the point.
The Pats got Riley Reed on the team.
Yeah.
So
gotta keep morale high.
So I know there's some surprises, and Sean Wade is one that jumped. I actually had him down on something that I wanted to talk about with you guys. Sean Wade's one. Amir Speed was another one that I saw. He was on there.
The 7th round pick.
First of all, good for him, because I think that the fact that he's on there, and he's obviously quick as shit. But Sean Wade, that one is somewhat surprising to me, because he was kind of the ghost of Sean Wade last year, where it's like, this is going to be the game. And then he's,
and then he just blew
healthy scratch. It was like, other than those two, what names jump out to you guys that made it, that didn't make it? Nick Folk also traded too. We didn't talk. We'll talk about that as well.
Folk,
any names?
Sam Roberts. That was a name that surprised me a little bit. And it was because the limited game action, it was especially the Green Bay game. He had 2 unsportsmanlike conducts. He just had a couple really bad penalties and really that extended the drives for Green Bay. So
I remember those. Yeah.
I was like, all right, I don't think he's going to do that great, but he must have had a really good Tennessee game to kind of solidify it.
He must just contribute very well in special teams. You know how Bill holds those guys that are at the very end of the roster that just ball out on special teams. He'll keep those guys around for 8 years.
Yeah. So Sam, so that's a big one. Other than that, like there weren't weren't really any big surprises for the 53 man. I know that obviously people wanted Malik Cunningham. I thought that was kind of overblown. It was nice to see. I think that was kind of a highlight driven thing that happened. People started seeing he's quick, he can do this, he can do that. It's like, oh, let's get him on there. Odds are he wasn't going to make it unless he could somehow get that third. I mean, I guess now it'd be second because there's no quarterbacks on there. But I think because we heard obviously what Jerry had to say, but I wanted to have him kind of talk, which I'm glad we all kind of just let him go because I wanted to see what he was saying because he's obviously the guest here. Bailey Zappi being gone. So when I texted you guys earlier and I was like, Bailey Zappi, like I said in the next text, I was like, that's going with my heart. I want him gone, not because I want him out of the job or because I hate him. I hate the idea of him. So
it's a distraction. That's not how the Patriots roll.
Yeah.
If there's this controversy over a backup who played 4 fucking games, it's like, all right, we can just lose him and pick up any other backup. I know Chad Henne just retired, but we can get another Chad Henne. We can get somebody who's just
Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy might be the one.
McCoy, I swear, I will be insufferable. You will not be able to tolerate.
That's fine because as a backup,
well,
guys,
I want him to start.
It's a backup quarterback. I know that it was somewhat surprising because it's a name we know and obviously he started or whatever, but the discourse in all the stuff around a backup quarterback position, like before we came on, Liam, you were here, you heard me listen to the tail end of it. I was listening to them talking on NBCSN and it was like, what's the Patriots backup quarterback problem? It's not a problem. You're signing someone with one. If Matt Jones is out for any length of time, the season's over. 2, with him being out for however long, say it's half a game, 1 game, game and a half, whatever it is, they're going to run Ramondre Stevenson 40 times and Zeke might get 25 carries. The backup quarterback, as long as he can throw the ball, I do not care who it is. Yeah. But I am happy that it's not Zappy. Al, your thoughts on it?
Well, again, too, and I said this earlier with Jerry on, I said the same thing. It's like, you're going to get
fucking Jerry Thornton on, by the way. You say you had Jerry on. Awesome. I'm like, I have a little Jerry in my pants. Sorry, horny episode. Very.
No, you're good. You're good, Mike. You had to get it all out, literally and figuratively.
Buddy.
But you're going to have a backup quarterback no matter what. It's either going to be Bailey Zappi, it's going to be Malik Cunningham coming back, or maybe you go out and get a Colt McCoy, Jacoby Brissett, whoever.
Jacoby Brissett's on the Redskins.
Is he?
Yep.
I thought he was still.
He's probably going to be their starter.
No, Sam Howell's the starter.
Yeah.
Rivera likes Howell. But anyway,
either way, like you're saying, it does not matter.
Point being, right? If Mac Jones is out for any length above 4 weeks, then yes, the season essentially is done. And it's how many backup quarterbacks in the league can you really put in there and you're like, wow, we feel really comfortable with it? Maybe a handful at the absolute most.
I can't even think of any, but maybe. I can't think of any that
Colt McCoy
jump up
that are on an active team right now.
I would have said Chad
I hate to say it, but Zach Wilson.
But again,
I hate to say it, but
right?
That's
at the absolute most, a handful. So
Tavares Jackson's dead. So
for the people out there that are like, why are they doing this? I think they're doing it. Truthfully, I think they're doing it because their offensive line is such a mess, especially the right tackle position. I know Calvin Anderson came back. That's great. Mm-hmm. But they need to see what they have for backup linemen too. And that can be a big factor this week in practice. And then if you want to, going into the Philadelphia game week, if one of them doesn't pan out, you can easily just say bye-bye to one of them. And then if Bailey Zappi or Malik Cunningham or whoever's on that practice squad, whip them right back up onto the active roster, and then there's your backup quarterback.
That's my gripe, though. Do we actually think Bailey Zappi is going to stay on the practice squad? There's going to be another team that's going to scoop.
Someone's going to pick him up before. I don't think.
You guys think so? Because I was thinking
he got too much game time. He got way too much playing time. Another team's going to be
you don't think the Raiders will pick him up?
Something like that, dude.
Have him go over there.
If Jarrett Stidham got plenty of opportunities, and then actually started a couple games last year, you don't think Bailey Zappi? How many games did Jarrett Stidham play? 1.
maybe like
exactly.
if you tally it all up, it's maybe
and he's
almost a whole game.
Got another job. In fact, he started last season. Bailey Zappi's going to be the Lions. No, they got Teddy Bridgewater.
No, it'll be the Jets. The Jets are going to pick him up to be the backup to Aaron Rodgers. I guarantee you.
No, Zach Wilson's killing it. I hate him, but he's killing it. He is. It's not going to be like it would be like Miami. They got rid of Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know who their backup
The Commanders. They might because
they
their
have,
situation.
They have Jacoby Brissett.
If they pick up, but see, either way, it's one of those things where I think between those two, I would assume that Malik Cunningham makes it to the practice squad if I had to pick between him and Zappy.
Yeah.
Just because Zappy, like you've seen him, Cunningham, people are like, is he a wide receiver? Is he a quarterback? What's he want to do? He hasn't shown that much, whatever, which I mean, I
can see him being practice squad.
Yeah, I hope that'd be a cool thing to have, you have him in there. Now, if neither one of them, like I said, I don't care who the Patriots sign as the backup quarterback because this isn't like you're signing a second tight end where it's like they'll see playing time or like a second running back where it's like they'll see play, which is why Zeke kind of irks you so much because it's a second running back, which like
he's our only other running back. He's gonna play.
So so it's like I do not care about the backup quarterback. So I don't know. I did just
you need to have one.
You
need to have one.
Oh yeah,
it's not like you need one tomorrow. Like if you get one by Friday, you're fine.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying I don't care because it's not a concern that like, oh, I hope they sign person X or a good as long as you have a body who has played in the NFL before or who is competent at least we had fucking Brian Hoyer for a billion years and Brian Hoyer wasn't lighting anything on fire. Like that's all we need. Someone like that. Literally call Brian Hoyer. Like you said, Liam. I do not care. I
bet his phone's been ringing off the hook.
That's why I'm saying, like when I say that I don't care, it's not that we don't need one, whatever. It's just I don't like whoever it.
Yeah.
Pick
no matter who our backup quarterback is, they're gonna probably be mediocre unless we get Colt McCoy. Then we have a franchise-altering backup.
Yeah. Did you guys, by the way, have anything else about the roster stuff, the people who made it, didn't make it, anything?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about last week when we were like, which wide receiver doesn't make it? All of
exactly what I was going to go to.
So we're like, what the fuck?
Kick it off. Let's go. Yeah, 6 wide receivers, most likely. The Patriots carry.
And I like it because what position's going to get hurt the most? Probably wide receivers. Who's the guy we just signed to a huge deal? Devontae Parker. Who misses the most time? Usually Devontae Parker. So it's like, perfect. Like
Tyquan Thornton's already hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see it now. Like Devontae Parker breaks his ribs. He's out for like 2-3 weeks. Boom. Kayshon Boutte gets some playing time. Not a ton. But then Tyquan Thornton's tiny wrists go limp. And then we get Douglas and Boutte mixed in there in the fold and whatnot. And Bourne's pretty durable. Like, I'm not worried about him. If he gets hurt, then I'm like, holy shit, like, really? But, like, there are plenty of receivers. You send them over the middle. There's not a ton of mean hitters out there anymore. We don't have Ray Lewis who's going to decapitate any of our wide receivers. But it can happen. A dumbass, they plant their leg in the ground, tear an ACL. Unfortunately, that terrible shit happens.
Yeah.
And then, boom, we got 6 receivers on the roster. All of them hopefully know the system or show signs of promise. I love them.
Yeah, which they do. And I think that's awesome that you have them because you can kind of interchange that. You can have different players going out there at different times. Like, and then not only that, you're talking about receivers getting hurt. What happens if Mike Gesicki misses time? You're not going to have those 2 tight ends. So then you got to have another receiver kind of pick up that slack. So it's nice. I know people are talking about the 6 wide receiver thing, but I'm like, I know that it's a lot, but like, all right.
So way too early predictions, obviously, but in the hypothetical that receivers get hurt and we have to dig deep into the trenches here, who is the first one? Who gets the most playing time at the end of the season? Boutte or Douglas?
Yeah.
Pop Douglas or that Boutte?
I am going to say, I wanted to say one, but I'm going to say the other one. I think it's Boutte just because he's a bigger.
Yeah.
I think the upside for him is more. He's also just bigger. I don't know if that means he's more durable. Maybe it does. I don't, whatever. But I just think that and especially if I'm thinking who does get hurt too, because I'm assuming Devontae Parker is going to get hurt or miss time.
Yeah.
But it honestly doesn't matter. But you put Booty in there, he kind of fills that bigger receiver role. I guess I'll say
he just seems like naturally very athletic. Like we talked about that long touchdown he had in the preseason. To me, it looked like he was running in quicksand. Like it didn't look like he was running very fast at all. And he still burned a defense of people working their entire lives to make an NFL roster. Like, yes, you could say they're the third string guys. The third string guys are better than most starting college players. Like they made it to the league. They got an opportunity. They were the best of the best at their school. So if he burns the third string guys, those are still stellar athletes. And Booty did not look like he was trying 100%, and he still smoked them. So it's like the dude's clearly just one of those athletes, at least in my eyes, who's just gifted, just balling.
Yeah.
Al, what do you think?
Who do I think? I'm gonna do this in two ways. Who do I think has more potential? Kayshon Boutte, obviously.
Yeah, of course. But if you just had to pick.
For this year, I'm going to go Douglas.
This season.
I'm going to Mario Douglas because I think he fills that slot receiver really, really well. And that's something that's been a catalyst in the Patriots offense. Now, ask me in 2 to 3 years, I might be, on the Kayshon Boutte train.
Yeah.
You might want to sniff a little booty.
Running train on the booty. Yeah. Are you guys going into it? I saw a lot of people talking about like they assumed Douglas was going to make it, but they didn't know about Boutte. I didn't have the even question. I just assumed they both were making it. Like I didn't think that that Boutte, it was even a question really to me. That maybe that's just like me being naive. Like I just assumed because he only played one drive in the third game. So I was like, okay, that was probably them just saying, hey, you're probably gonna make the team, but guess what? Like, go out there, do it. Like, have a drive. We still want to, nothing's given, everything is earned. So we want you out there.
You could still fuck this up, but you're probably
yes. Basically, it's like a final. Like, hey, we just want to see you one more time. Make sure that we're thinking the right thing. Don't fuck it up. So I don't know. Were you guys worried? Isn't the right word because I don't think any of us were necessarily like panicking about it. But were either you guys thinking that he wasn't going to make the team, Boutte?
The basic in me looks at draft position, and Douglas was drafted after Boutte. Like they're both late round picks, so they're both kind of a toss up to me. After the fifth round, it's kind of like anyone's lucky to make the roster after the fifth round type deal. But I don't know, just maybe because of my blind love for him. Like I saw him score a 31-yard touchdown against Auburn live in person for LSU. And I was like, this guy, Fox. So I was extremely biased going into this. I never watched Douglas highlights until he got drafted by the Patriots. I was like, who is this guy?
A lot of people
he's fast. Cool. Yeah, exactly. But Boutte, I knew about him. So I'm a little biased. I'm not one to answer this question.
Yeah.
Since I'm unbiased, I'll take this question. I think, and I know this is the very easy answer, but the moment that solidified it for him was the touchdown against Green Bay. That was the moment.
Yeah.
Because you saw the speed, you saw, the good reception in tight coverage, explosiveness. And I was like, all right, you know what? He's probably going to make the team now. And if he can do things like this, not all the time, but if he can give you a couple plays like that, then great. He's an addition and he's an asset to the offense. Take 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
As lame as it sounds, we didn't see that once last year. We didn't see that at all. We did not see a breakaway wide receiver touchdown. We can go the year before and talk about Kendrick Bourne having that 74-yard touchdown against the Cowboys.
Oh, God.
It happened the year before.
So many good plays with him that year.
Incredible.
Even 2020 with Damiere Byrd against the Texans.
Damiere Byrd made a play.
You got none of that last year. God, Jerry hit the nail on the head when he's
like, one.
Show me on the doll where Matt Patricia hurt you. Because I know we all were not making excuses, but we were all just trying to make the best out of it. But it has become, since the second the season ended, it has been, and especially right now, wildly apparent that this offense was hamstrung to a critical extent last year. We didn't even have hamstrings to hamstrung. It was like you were playing offense literally with a hand tied behind your back and your leg tied to the person next to you. It was just tough seeing this offense now. It looks good. You saw, you guys see Hunter Henry posted something on Instagram, be like, ready to get back to work, can't wait, blah blah blah. And then Mike Gesicki put it on his Instagram story too, with the emoji with like the zipper over the mouth. And then I think it was Hunter Henry or someone tweeted out like, I love this offense. Like the players feel very confident about this offense, which is the best.
If they buy in, you play better.
Yeah, which clearly they have, which is great. Like everybody has, I think, what were we saying last year, Liam, the majority of the time when we were sitting here coming on trying to make the best out of nothing? We were saying if this team even had a average offense, they would have won 2 more games, hit a playoff spot. Who knows? And then people aren't even talking about like Mac Jones, his first 2 years makes the playoff. Like everything could have been different. It's just crazy to see how bad this offense fucked them last year.
And also, like, you got to be fair. There were a lot of external, almost like payback calls against the Patriots, like the Hunter Henry touchdown against the Vikings, which was called back, that crazy out of bounds last second touchdown by the Raiders, which was totally out of bounds. They called it a touchdown, and then that led to the Jacoby Myers shit. There's just like there were a ton of like weird calls toward the end, and then against the Bengals, we're about to score the game-winning touchdown in Ramondre Stevenson fumbles, and you're like, damn, that never happens.
It literally does not happen. Yeah. Like that's the thing. Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah, so stuff like that where it's like our offense sucked and we were still a few weird calls away. And that's another reason why the NFL drives me crazy is the weird calls. But it's like it gives you a little hope. You're like, we were right there.
Yeah.
If there was just somebody competent, in wearing the pinstripes, we would have been good.
Yeah. No, the offense has gotten better and the defense has gotten better, I would say too. So like I love as a Patriots fan going into this year because everybody is kind of not just counting the Patriots out. They're just not even on anybody's radar, which I love, which is why like a big win over the NFC Super Bowl representative last year in week 1 would be huge to start the year. But Jerry was right when he said it all comes down to the offensive line.
Jerry was talking himself into that one. I wanted to be like, Jerry, he's like, well, if everyone plays like a superstar, then maybe we can win. I'm like, I guess.
So what he said, like the offensive line though, because right now it does seem like you got Trent Brown at left tackle. Cole Strange is going to be back. David Andrews, one of everybody's favorite Patriots player of all time. You got Mike Onwenu, who seems like he's going to be back as well. Right tackle is I don't think Calvin Anderson's going to start yet because he just got activated. So he's still got to get his sea legs under him, whatever. So maybe you put in Riley Reef. And this might be the game where you put Riley Reef and you put Hunter Henry over there and kind of help him block a little bit to kind of mitigate whatever rush you have. And then, like I said, I think this is where Bill O'Brien earns his money. We're not going to give predictions or anything like that, but it's just the offensive line is kind of where I wanted to just head with this one. What now that everything's kind of done, all the games have been played, all the players you'd assume are here. Patriots aren't going to add anybody else. They added 2 offensive linemen. What was it? Tyrone Wheatley and what the fuck was this guy's name? Vidarian Lowe. Awesome name. How do you guys feel about the offensive line going into the year right
now? Suspect.
Yeah, it's
why?
suspect.
And why?
Because it hasn't been healthy in the whole preseason.
Yep.
It hasn't been healthy the last 3 years. Like let's call it spade.
Really.
It's been fucking wild. Like,
Isaiah Wynn, Trent Brown, David.
You don't know who's going to be your right tackle. Like, we say Calvin Anderson, but will he be healthy enough to go week 1?
Will he be good?
I don't think so. I don't think
he was a backup for the Denver Broncos who weren't good, and their starting right tackle isn't a premier right tackle in the league. It's not like he's behind Matt Light or anything like that.
Yeah, or like Tyrone Smith when he was killing it. Like I don't think you need, you don't need like a prime Trent Brown on the right side. I think you just need someone who isn't gonna fuck up. And I don't. It's almost like a cop out answer, but it's like you kind of have to wait and see who's
it's like I truly
playing
don't know.
there. Like that to me, if you're looking at the team as a whole, offense and defense, I will throw every side of it in there. I think the main concern I don't even want to say the offensive line. It is just strictly that right tackle position, because I'm trying to look at other. I know they only have one quarterback right now. I know
But
they have
that's
two
why I
running
say
backs,
suspect.
but
Because
like
even if that's a one questionable position, what if David Andrews turns his ankle in week 2? Like some dumb shit like that, which always seems to happen.
yeah, no,
It's like the Celtics with point guards. It's like they're cursed. It's like what's
yeah,
gonna happen?
they get a great one, and then like
it's like what knee problem is gonna take out our Celtics point guard? And then it's like with the Patriots offensive line, it's like what unforeseen circumstances are gonna ruin the line? Oh, David Andrews gets decapitated in week 6 on a pick. Oh shit. Well, that sucks.
Like they have depth though, which like I know they have like Jake Andrews, so David Andrews,
but the depth doesn't look good. And here I am coming to Bailey Zappi's defense because like the dude got cut, but he also had 0.3 seconds to throw the ball every time he dropped back. Like during the Titans game, I started to feel bad, and I don't even like the guy. I'm like, oh my god, like somebody do something. I felt really fucking bad for the guy.
Yeah, I don't. Al, how do you feel? Like, what if you had to kind of pick out something on the team? I'm assuming it would be right tackle, the offensive line that might hamstring them for a little bit, right?
Yeah, but I'll throw in something a little different. I'll throw in on the defensive side of the ball, defensive tackle. How good will Lawrence Guy and Devon Godchaux be at stuffing the run? Because in the preseason, when they played the Packers and it was all the first stringers, it didn't look too great. But again, it's one game. I'm not worried about it. I didn't think it looked good. Truthfully,
no,
it wasn't great.
Christian Barmore? No, I'm not forgetting him. I'm just saying in general,
he'll stuff the run.
If he stays healthy, he can't stay on the field.
But when he does, he stuffs the
run.
But
he has to stay on the field.
But in those
he has to stay on the field.
Those 4 games he plays, no one's running on us.
Yeah, 4 out of 17.
But
13 out of 17 is not playing.
Lockdown.
Yeah, but you got Godchaux, Guy, Barmore. You also got Equale too, who isn't necessarily an exact nose tackle, but he's something. I'm assuming they might add someone else. I don't know. People are saying they might. Who knows? But I think the reason why you can be kind of soft in a way at that position is because you have an incredible group of linebackers and defensive ends. So, you got Judon. I can go down the line. I mean, there's at least a handful. Judon, Jennings, Wise, Uche, and what's his name? Jawan Bentley. Like you got Mac Wilson.
Danny Equale, who was sick last year too.
Then you also have the linebacker, the safeties that can come in. Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
Kyle Duggar, who they're going to be kind of your pseudo guys there too. So.
And one of my most favorite things that I've been looking at, just like through videos and through tape, because I do have like the all 22 footage, which is so much fun, is the safeties. Like Bill is creating a defense that no one has ever seen before. Like Jalen usual, he's innovative. Yep, Jalen Mills is now a free safety, which means we have 17 safeties, and he's gonna play all
Not
of
enough.
them. Yeah, exactly. And like Bill is creating the most versatile defense where he's like, we play the Bills. They kill us on crossing routes. Fuck the linebackers. We don't want any bruisers on the field when we're playing the Bills on 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Let's get our 2 safeties in there at linebacker, have 2 safeties deep, and everyone's just going to cover the shit out of the ball. And I'm sure it's going to be similar when we play Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. It's the weirdest defense I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. But Bill Belichick made it, and I have no reason to doubt this man's greatness.
Makes me think it's going to be that much better because it is so like you have a team, like you said, 6 safeties on the team. You have like really 4, 5 corners, maybe. You have like speed all over the place, but then you're not sacrificing the pass rush because you still have Dietrich Wise, Judon, Uche.
And we can get pressure rushing 4 guys. We can get pressure rushing 3 guys, and that is so difficult.
That's how the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. That's how the Giants beat the Patriots in the 2 Super Bowl. That's
never blitzed.
Yeah, they just rushed 4. And when you rush 4, you don't have that quarterback that can quickly, okay, where's the extra guy coming from? Let me go there. No, because it's just the 4 rushers. You still have a regular defense to look at. So if the Patriots can get pressure with the front 4, I mean, God, that'd be Godchaux. That'd be amazing.
Exactly. And like, not to nerd out, but like, Bill likes his dime defense, and then you can rush 5 guys at that point, and then it's everyone's one-on-one. all defenders against one single offensive lineman that's blocking them. And Bill loves his stunts. He's going to have guys switching gaps and rolling over other players' shoulders. I want to say tackles, but rolling over ends and tackles and everything else.
Stunts.
Yeah. And it's just completely like the defense is going to be unbelievable. And I can see it now. It's so perfect. If you look at it from a quarterback's perspective, where it's like, all right, there's one safety deep. The quarterback's like, I know what coverage they're in, snaps the ball, and then that safety runs to the far right corner of the field. And then, the nickel corner drops back into deep safety coverage. And all of a sudden, the quarterback's like, what the fuck is going on here? He goes, I thought I was covered zero.
You have Duggar and Phillips on the field, safeties.
Yeah.
They're both up there. You got maybe Duggar moves up a little bit and you think, okay, cool, Adrian Phillips is going to back up. They hike the ball, they switch. All of a sudden, Duggar sprints backwards because they can both rush or cover. It's like there's so many things that this defense can do.
It's unbelievable. And Bill leaves it all up to the defenders. Bill tells them what he expects and then lets them make the decisions on the field. Did you guys watch the quarterback documentary on Netflix?
I did not.
No. It's really good.
I hear it's
Kirk
good.
Cousins. Kirk Cousins is kind of a boner, and Patrick Mahomes is the worst shit talker I've ever seen. But it is very good. And Kirk Cousins throws a pick to Jonathan Jones in the Patriots game, and Kirk Cousins is just sitting in the film room after the game, and he's so pissed. He's like, "This play was open." When I looked at the Patriots film of their last 3 games, he goes, I don't understand how they made this play. Jonathan Jones followed Justin Jefferson upfield and then peeled off the route, left Jefferson to the safety, came down, and had no business jumping this route, and he got it. And Kirk Cousins is furious. He's like, how does this happen? And Jonathan Jones made an incredible play. And Bill Belichick kind of teaches you guys, work off instinct. If you think something's cutting underneath, peel off, trust the safety, make the play. And the way everyone talks about the Patriots defense, especially Kirk Cousins, because he was the only one in the documentary that actually played the Patriots this season, the dude was tormented. He's sitting in the film room with his coaches the week beforehand, like, I have no idea what defense they're going to throw at us. We think it's going to be mostly cover 3, and they guess that it's mostly going to be cover 3 and dime packages. And then after the game, Kirk Cousins is going over the film, and he goes, They didn't show us any dime. They didn't show us any cover 3. He goes, we guessed, and we guessed entirely wrong. And they still won the game. There was a suspect call that helped. He's a good quarterback. He made up for it. But stuff like that, it gets me so excited to be like, damn,
I'm fucking pumped.
He's playing chess when everyone else is playing check. He's so far ahead of everyone. He's making you guess. He's getting
playing
paid
fucking back end. He's not even in the same.
100%. Kirk Cousins has $100 million guaranteed to make the wrong guess.
Good quarterback.
Dude,
but just
100%.
I don't know. And by the way, Jonathan Jones back at practice. Obviously, I think we said that before. Christian Gonzalez as well back at practice. Mike Gesicki out of the red non-contact jersey. Pop Douglas out of the red non-contact jersey. Cole Strange day-to-day. Mike Onwenu should be back in time.
Yeah,
starting to come together.
Yep,
it's starting to come
very much so.
So
it's so easy to talk yourself into this team.
I cannot wait. And we will next week, because next week is going to be the one we'll do our season predictions, everything from offensive player of the year, defensive, biggest letdown, everything there, record, kind of go game by game when we do that as well. So it'll be a good episode. I don't know how long it'll be, but it'll be enough for us to get our shit off. And then we're fucking back to football, guys. Football is finally back. I know we said it a few weeks ago, football is back, but that's fine. It's fake football. It's kind of, whatever, Walmart brand football. We are back. We are name brand football in less than 2 weeks.
Yep.
God, I cannot wait. No. So you guys have anything else to say before we hop on?
Get me to week 1.
Week 1, best baby. Believe. Chad Ryland and Bryce Behringer.
He got it.
Let's fucking go, baby. There we go. I save it to the end. I get one good one. I saved it to the end.
Yeah. Shout out to Jerry Thornton for being on the episode again, by the way.
What a stud.
Yeah, shout out Jerry Thornton. Obviously, Jerry, I know that you're a weekly listener, of course. So, you ever want to come back on, just pop back on, man. We're good. But no, obviously, shout out to Jerry Thornton. Awesome having him on. Dude has forgotten more football than we even know. So, good shit for Liam, for Al, for Mike, me. This was Tuck Rule Takes episode 97. We will see you next week for the season preview. We out.
Later.
Sweet pea.